I never considered myself a contestant, so to speak. I was an artist on a show. People have preconceived notions of what a competition show is. So it was my duty every round to challenge that. When you give them something that they didn't expect and they feel like, man, I didn't know I needed that. That's when you really win. That's when you really make genuine connections with people. As one of the contestants on Rhythm Flow, the final challenge was to make a song that kind of culminated everything that we had done up until that point. The only thing that I had already planned on doing was sitting down at a piano and rapping from the piano with nothing else happening. The Last Supper idea came about just because we had developed bonds with other contestants, but I also knew that the competition element is there. So similar to the Last Supper, you're among people who you break bread with, but there's someone among you who is gunning for you. So I just thought it made perfect sense. Keep it 100, I be feeling like who? Nobody. My initial intent was, keep it 100, and then I'm looking out like who want it? But the interesting thing is, when I hear it back, I hear different meanings myself, and I think it's dope when art does that, because it can take you different places. So when I hear it back, sometimes I hear, keep it 100, I be feeling like who? Like, who do I be feeling like? Nobody else, right? Nobody other than myself. I feel like me. These niggas finally understand when I land, I'm the man. Fuck you thought this was, nigga, from Japan to the land. Suckers know what's up, nigga. I'm praying they overstand me. Being felt and understood. I'm praying they overstand me. See where I'm coming from. See who I am, my intent, and the lyrics and the music, Every kid need a hero. I'm trying to be Uncle Stan Lee. Just the idea of having heroes. Like, I can look back on my own upbringing and remember the people that I idolized. I idolized my older brother, Ron. He said Outkast was dope. So then I'm going to the school telling all my friends Outkast was dope. I remember what teachers, black male teachers, which were, few and far between. But I remember the teachers who, when they closed the door, could look in your eyes and talk to you like an older brother. I remember myself seeing myself in them. R.I.P. All I see is concrete. Burnt rubber glass scattered on the concrete. Concrete is not soil. Concrete is not fertile. All I see is concrete. That's the why. Like, why does every kid need a hero? Because when they look at their surroundings, it's not like I see opportunity for growth. Heard love of lives matter, so when hearts leak. Blood dripping live patterns, so my ink writing red when it's splattered. Don't flatter me, nigga. I feel like I'm the type of artist that writes lyrics that come from within, come from a real place. So the reference of the ink being blood is basically saying I've sacrificed to be able to write what I write. The lyrics are coming from a real place. It's coming from experiences that are not just in this bubble of I've been in the studio all my life. No, I've been outdoors. I've fought literally and figuratively, so that to be in a position to write lyrics that, come from in my veins. Save your compliments. I already know that my flow is bomb as shit. I'm not doing this for validation. I'm not doing this for other people's approval. I'm taking this opportunity to present what I know already to be incredible art to the world. We could toast to our old accomplishments, but I'd rather coach, move forward, and talk my shit. I'm most proud of just knowing that I was an incredible teacher. I put my heart, in the same way that I put my heart in my art, I put my heart into the classroom and into the lives of my students. So I can say I was and still am fulfilled as a person because of what I was able to do in the classroom. So we could sit back and be like, yeah, I did that, but I'd rather coast, move forward, and talk my shit. It's that attitude that, I'm going to get, what it is that I want in the same way that I always have. They tell me, eat, smoke, take your time, it's a long dinner. Eat, smoke, take your time, it's a long dinner. The stigma is that people off of competition shows are like, okay, they have this television moment and then somewhere along the line they fizzle out. But that's not my story, So it was both me telling myself like, eat, as in like, eat the competition, take your time, do what you do, be poised, it's a long dinner, This is just the beginning of it all. Eat, smoke, take your time, it's a long dinner. It's one king and a few brothers, the Last Supper. So in the recording, I said it's one queen and a few brothers, the Last Supper. That was me kind of giving a nod to Cardi being the one queen among the judges, and then you got, you know, the two pillars, Chance and T.I. However, in the competitive sense, after having recorded that record, when I went up to perform it, I just made that executive decision to be like, you know what? I'm not giving anybody a nod. This is my moment, and I'm gonna go ahead and claim the fact that I'm the king of this, and make it real hard for people to follow that. Keep it 100, I be feeling like Campbell soup over white rice, baked chicken with the skin on. Lowry's with black pepper, I'm fully seasoned with half the effort. Black people season stuff in layers, you know what I'm saying? Even though you got flavor in the Campbell soup, but the chicken itself has to have flavor too. So before you put it in the pan, you had to season the chicken with, you know, the Lowry's and black pepper. Then you put the Campbell soup and all that stuff. So I was really taking them to the kitchen, you know. And that was just my favorite childhood meal. Ask my nigga Mash Boy, I been on. I'm a pit with a bunch of labs in the kino. Mash is the homie from Inglewood. Mash is in a wheelchair. Some city business, things went down. Mash got shot, damaged his spine, and, you know, he's paralyzed from the waist down. But Mash is also that dude that you'll find doing pull-ups in 24-hour fitness with his chair attached. Papa Sticks used to pull it back till he went on. Drop a fifth and reach in the bag. A nigga pull out a sack to relax. Pass the blunt like communion. I know we friends, but nigga, Jesus was homies with Judas. You the homie or whatever, nigga. But Jesus was homies with Judas. Like, so even when I performed it, it was like that inhale, like, you know, I'm feeling like Descartes, Thomas Hobbes. I'm feeling philosophical. Don't be that nigga looking at your homeboy like, how could you do this? Smile in your face, then as soon as you walk away, wishing you ruined. Now you looking foolish. Sometimes people can only support you as far as they can understand you. When they stop understanding who you are and where you're going, then they feel threatened by your own growth. I got homies who, when we kicking it, they the homies. But when I'm busy, they feel like that's a slight to our friendship. Now you looking foolish because y'all had that kind of misunderstanding, like friends, relationships changing, despite how things change, because they different. You know, I'm still rooting for you because once I get over my feelings, I'm gonna realize like the time we spent was valuable, and I'm rooting for you. You know, the show was not lending me any legitimacy. It was the opposite. I was lending legitimacy to the show. You put me in the box, you know, or you throw me to the wolves, I'm gonna come back the leader of the pack.